Welcome everybody to the CFF List Waiver Watch Draft for Week 7. I'm your host Jay Mill. I got my partner Willie B as usual, and we're very excited to have returning one of our favorite guest pickers, Farnsworth from the Ankle Biters Podcast. How you been, Farnsworth?
Man, I'm good, man. It's been a busy last 2 years. Life is going, but we're finding time to do this, and this is what we love. So here we are.
All right. Well, we're going to get back with you in just a minute. We'll give you a little time to check your homework, make sure your picks are in the order you want, while Willie and I go through last week's results, which, got to admit, Willie, you've been on a roll. You pulled out the 1 a.m. win last night in the Duke game as Nate Shepard ran it up on Cal with that long. They were just trying to run the clock out, and Nate Shepard just broke off a little 40 or 50-yard run to get you the waiver watch win and get himself up to 22.7 points for you to go along with your big Brandon Lewis game of 35.3, which I think we all saw coming from Brandon Lewis against Tulsa. But how you feeling? You're on a roll. I have to say, you had 2 standouts, 3 not so good guys, but your standouts were good enough to get you 83.4 points, which is right in the range we like to see.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not totally impressed because I didn't get to the 100, but reaching that threshold, that 80 where we want to be,
Yep.
And then more importantly, going 5-0 and our head-to-head.
Against me.
That's pretty much that's the icing on the cake. And
Well, I thought I had you because I was sitting at 81 like from mid-afternoon while you were kind of still like without Shepard. You were down there in the 60s. And I thought I had it. I didn't know Shepard was, especially when he got that garbage touchdown to finish off Cal, because I was feeling really good with Bear Bachmeier's 28.3. I had we picked the correct Oklahoma wide receiver. Satanias continues to go off for Oklahoma with 23.5, and I had the one guy that I said you could count on over there at Delaware with Joe Nathan Silver. He was in the Friday game and got me 15. So I had a good head start on you with two of my top 3 guys, played early, and I had you guys, working hard to catch up. But we did have a few misses across the board. Thanks again to Joe Arpazzi. He went 2-0 in the Kings Classic, but unfortunately he was last place in the waiver watch draft with 51.6. He did not, thankfully, have the distinction of making any of our worst list. 51, we've all been there. We've all had scores in the 50s and 60s that we're not happy with. We'd like to get 70, 80, and especially like that 90, 100 range. But Joe kind of had a clunker, even from Calandria, was playing out there in the cold hail and snow in Wyoming, got 11.3. Nari Biggins from Central Michigan really let him down with 7.2. And I guess maybe his biggest disappointment was Raphael Williams in the blowout against Boston College. They really didn't need to target Raphael Williams, and he only ended up with 3.8. And for the second week in a row, I had a disappointing output from Isaiah Cummings. Our guy Purple Rain thought he would turn it around against Oregon State, and he only put up 3 again, which gave us 3 horrendous picks at tight end. I had a flop from Gavin Harris, who I had picked up in a couple leagues. He only had like 3 catches, something like that, maybe 2, maybe 1. And your guy from Western Kentucky only had 0.7 points. So we got to get these tight ends figured out. And I would tell you right now, as I was putting my list together, there's only one that I like this week that I think we can count on. So I might be going tight end early in this draft.
Yeah, but going back to before we flash forward to this week, unfortunately, and I didn't update it on the list, so maybe you didn't catch it, but Joe is number 10th worst all time. So he
did make the top 10 worst list.
Yeah, he did make the top 10 worst list. He beat out the gridiron scholar John Lobb. He previously had a 51.8. And 22 in the finals, and so Joe will bump that score out of the low 10.
Okay, well, I always hate when that happens. I know Farnsworth and I think are both. Are we both still on that? I know we're going to get to the good part though, but tell us.
Well, yeah. So yeah, J Mill, you had the all-time with the 34. Low. Yeah, the 34 you had in week 7 of 23. and
Okay.
you also had a 34.3
To
and
start the season,
25.
right? This season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was in week 3
Right.
of 20. Yeah. So this year. And
Right.
then so Farnsworth is third
Third
all-time
worst.
low. Yeah,
Okay.
with his 38.4
But on the
that
flip
he had.
side, doesn't Farnsworth hold the all-time high?
That is correct.
Okay, and what was that
That
score?
is
Let's
correct.
get him his props and let people know why they should pay attention to him today
Yeah,
as we get
he
ready for
had
the draft.
yeah, that all-time score of 144.7 is pretty impressive.
144.7. What's second place, just to put it in perspective of how good it is?
139.6.
Okay, yeah, but then if you get down to number 10, we're looking at what, 117?
127 too.
Yeah. So like, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty. Uh, that might not
A
be broken
player's
for quite a
worth.
while.
Yeah,
144
that's a
points.
player's worth advantage basically.
Yeah.
That's
That's an incredible output.
That's the highs and lows of CFF, though.
There you go.
You
Yeah.
can be really good one week and piss poor the next week.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, and we all, it's a competition, but our goal is we want everybody to be up at least over 80 and get to 90. That's the real goal every week. We want a quarterback that can get 20, running backs and receivers that are going to get 15, and a tight end that can at least get you close to 10. And if you look at it that way, 88 to 90 is kind of the standard we look at. We're okay with scoring the 80s, but anything below that, we're not happy. And even though it's a competition, we're trying to give good advice to everybody that's listening. So we're rooting for everybody every week. We never like to see those low scores, but we also know it's nothing to be ashamed of when you hit a low because, sometimes guys just don't play, or like we were talking about with Eugene Wilson from Florida this week, just got a 0 for no reason. Like players that aren't even on the waiver watch and are established players can put up the goose egg. So you never know. That's the lesson we've learned in this 5 minutes. So with that, Willie, you are the season leader, and you're kicking us off. It is random picks. Farnsworth will get to pick twice, and we'll snake back one time, and I'll be stuck in the middle here. So we'll see what you got, what you leave me, Willie, with my second pick. But go ahead and kick us off.
All right. I'm gonna. The list was a little slim in my opinion, so I'm not gonna wait for this guy to get back to me because I think he may be gone. So that's going to be running back Jeffrey Pittman from Southern Miss, and he is 2% rostered.
Nice.
He is averaging 15 and a half. He's coming off back-to-back games of 20. He had 20.8 against App State. He had 20 yesterday. He had 18 carries for 80 yards and 2 scores, back-to-back 2 touchdown games. More importantly, coming off of a bye, he gets Georgia Southern, who is giving up. They've given up 16 touchdown rushing already. They give up 263 on the ground. And then he gets Louisiana the week after. It's matching up that this guy, you may be able to ride him the rest of the way and have that sneaky person to get you to the championship, in my opinion.
Right.
If he stays healthy.
Yeah, and that was one of those teams that he's available largely because nobody knew who the running back one was going to be at Southern Mississippi. And, Coach Huff over there didn't make it too clear as he, is starting up with a new team and a new squad. You didn't really have a clue who was going to carry the load. But, by midseason, which is where we're at now, and especially by conference play, you start to figure it out. So there's a couple other teams where that's shaping up where I suspect we might have another player or two drafted that's in a similar situation that has emerged as a clear running back one. But that's a good choice to kick us off. And I know we all, worked a little harder to put together even a list of 6 receivers and 6 running backs this week. But the position I say that troubled me the most, and we all did really bad last week at finding a good one, was tight end, where I have 4, but I don't like 3 of the 4. So I'm going to go ahead and kick my tight end off to start. And I'm going to take Randy Pittman from Florida State. He's back looking good after being injured early in the season. He's bounced back in his two games after coming back from the injury with 20 and 17 points. And that included 13 targets, last night against Miami. So, they didn't pull out the win, but it looks like, they're going to be leaning on him as one of their primary targets now that he's back from the injury. He's the transfer from UCF that looked good last year at UCF. And, hopefully he's the guy that's going to get me over 10 points this week at tight end.
So that's all you're really looking for anyway. So
that's all I'm looking for. And I think that'll be the way these other guys are looking. That might be a 10-point advantage.
Well, I'm not sure about that, so we'll see. But Farnsworth, you have two picks here.
You get back-to-back here.
Oh, man, this is good stuff right here. You got me on the elbow. I love it. I'm going to go with running back. I'm a running backs guy. I love running backs. That's probably the first place I look with drafting. And when scouting talent during the week, looking at free agents. Give me Wayne Knight of the Dukes, James Madison Dukes. My man has been on a heater lately. He has usurped Wally Pipped, if you will. George Pettaway there. They get very, very tasty matchup this week in Louisiana Lafayette. My man is 22% owned. So I'm going to take Wayne Knight. Go ahead and scratch him off your list, guys. I know you had him because the dude
second on mine.
Yeah. Only reason I had him a little lower on mine is because I know Pettaway had been hurt, and I'm not sure how they're going to split it if he comes back. Now, it's not even sure, but I would say it definitely looks like Knight is the new running back one. And, after having, another good week, I don't think, they're going to be rushing Pettaway back. Like we put it that way. And Louisiana Lafayette is 134th against the run or against points given up to running back. So even if Pettaway's back, they both might have 15 or 20 points the way it looks like Lafayette gives up points to fantasy running backs.
Absolutely.
So I like it. All right. So you get to make another one.
Yes, sir. First pick of the second round, if you will. I'm going to go with my guy, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, quarterback from Marshall. They're getting Old Dominion. Old Dominion seems to be a little stingy at first glance, but I think it's more so you can chalk that up to the talent that they've played. I think this will be a shootout because I think this Marshall offense is serious. I think it's for real. They've got some guys. They've got some dudes that they can feed the ball to. And the Old Dominion, as you can see, the past couple of weeks have been running up and down the field on their opponents. I'm looking for a shootout in this one, so give me Carlos Del Rio Wilson at the quarterback position.
I think one thing's for certain in that game, Marshall will probably be playing from behind as good as the number one fantasy quarterback in the world, Colton Joseph. We were talking about him last week when we went through our year-to-date leaders, has not had a single game below 30 points in the fantasy season so far, and I think he put up another 40-something this week, maybe something like that. But so if nothing else, Carlos Del Rio Wilson is going to have to be throwing his tail off to make some things happen, which they've been doing pretty good these last 2 weeks. And that's the other team I was talking about where we didn't know because of, Southern Mississippi's new coach leaving Marshall, kind of left people not knowing who the quarterback one was, the running back one, the wide receiver one. I think that's all very clear based on the numbers the last 2 weeks. And that's another one where you got the right guy. So.
Yeah, and they're going to be seeing like talent for the rest of the way. Similar talent.
I'm gonna keep the Marshall train rolling. Then I'm gonna take my running back since you guys both got one. I don't want to get left out here. I'm gonna go Michael Allen from Marshall for the same reasons. He's had a heck of a 2 weeks. He's had 17 and 34 points once they finally figured out that he was going to be their guy, which he clearly is now. He's had 21 and 19 carries. And again, it's a team I watch closely every week because my youngest son was there, so I'm watching them a little more than most people. And again, Del Rio Wilson, Michael Allen, and another guy who will not be named yet because he might be taken here, have all kind of emerged as the clear leaders in their positions for that team. So don't be afraid to take these guys. And there's some of the few you might be able to get in almost every league because they're under 10% rostered, which is even more helpful this time of year. So there we go. Willie, you want to take one more Marshall guy to make it a trio here?
No. I'm gonna let y'all have that. I'm an old Dominion backer right now. I like what they're doing. I don't think it's a fluke. So I'm gonna stay away from Marshall just for this week, and I'm gonna let y'all take that.
Okay.
But one that I am going to take, and I just think that he's on the rise as far as what he's doing, and that's in the running back position, and that's going to be whoops, Jeremy, you might want to put that. You might want to put that in there. No,
Yep.
I got it. And that's Jaquil Middlebrook from Middle Tennessee State.
Yep.
He is coming off of a 20 carry game, 109 yards, 2 scores, scored 27.1. He's averaging 15.7. Don't let that fool you. He's, like I say, once we get into conference play, it's going to be a lot better. This is another guy coming off a bye. They get Missouri State, who is 102nd. They've given up 14 rushing touchdowns. They give up 164 rushing yards. I think he is due for another big game. He is 13% rostered.
Yeah, and he's a guy who started off a little slow. I think they had some tougher non-conference games, and you mentioned he should get better as they work their way through Conference USA. Had an outstanding spring and fall camp, apparently. It was kind of the talk of all the reports from the local guys there at Middle Tennessee. He's got a history of having, good performances. And I think you're right. He's on an upward trend as they play a little bit weaker competition. Missouri State is another team that he's going to keep it rolling against. He was my number 2 guy. I might have taken him back to back just to get my running backs out of the way if you hadn't have taken him there. I'll say that.
Yeah, I had Wayne Knight, one notch above him, but figure I want to grab that now and not settle for the 4th or 5th running backs, as you guys come back. So J Mill, it's on you now.
Okay, well, this is another guy who really stands out at this position for me. I've got 4 on this list, and he's the clear number 1 to me this week, and that's the Air Force quarterback Liam Zarka, who is doing his best impression of Blake Horvath from Navy this year, putting up all kind of numbers. He's not playing the toughest team. He's going against UNLV, which, he can pass the ball. He can run the ball. He's had over 110 rushing yards in the last 3 games. But his points the last 3 guys, 35, 37, and 44. That's crazy. This is Air Force, and there's a certain running back that's not doing so well that we all thought would do good because Zarka is really turning it up there along with his receiver, Cade Harris, who we've talked about a lot on our year-to-date leaders list. So these Air Force boys are making believers out of me, and I'm happy to have him as the quarterback because I didn't like the other 3 that I had nearly as much as I like him.
Well, he was actually my number 1 quarterback. I thought I might be able to sneak him in.
He was 2 for me.
Not today. All right, but okay. We'll see who we'll wait till the very end to see who you pick at quarterback. We'll let that be a surprise. Yeah. Farnsworth, you got a couple options here. You can either fill out your running back room or go wide receiver or tight end.
I'll do both. I will go wide receiver and fill out the running back.
You only get one here. You only get one here. Now we're back to normal. Now we're back to normal.
Yeah.
Since there's only 3 of us, we think it's only fair to do the snake one time.
I tried to sneak it in there.
Yeah.
He tried to do the real snake move.
I'm going to grab a wide receiver. I was trying to complete this trifecta, but my man Jeremy J. Mills sniped me. Yep. So I'm giving me DeMarcus Lacey.
Okay.
Wide receiver out of Marshall. He's clearly the number 1 target in this offense.
Yep.
The dude has been balling the last couple of weeks that he's been on the field. They're coming off a bye week, so hopefully they've made good with the time that they've had preparing for Old Dominion because Old Dominion is killing people right now, and they look very, very sharp. So Marshall's going to have to be on their A game. They're going to have their A game if they're going to stick with Old Dominion in this. And I think if they're going to stick with Old Dominion in this, they're going to have DeMarcus Lacey be a prevalent part of the plan, the offensive plan. He and my guy Michael Allen, who I wanted to get, but again, J. Mill got me there. Great pick. But listen, man, these 3 guys are CFF, I don't want to say gold yet, but they look good. They look good. And for the rest of the year, they'll be playing against like talent. They have another bye coming up. But this week they get Old Dominion. And so hopefully that'll be a shootout. And if it is DeMarcus Lacey, I look for him to be a prevalent part of the success that Marshall's intending to have.
Yeah, so the inside tidbit there is he's not just a guy who's getting targets. He's an athlete that's making a lot of stuff happen after the catch. So he's got that high ceiling where, he might get you 17 or 18 points just on the catches and the yards, but he's the guy that can, break off a pass and go 50 yards to the house and get you those extra points to get you up in the 30s, which he's done 27 and 38 points the last 2 weeks as they've kind of figured out what they're doing on offense there.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Now, Willie, we're going back to you.
All right. I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna go down a little further on the list here. I'm gonna take my number 2 guy because I feel like I can sneak the number 1 guy in. And this guy, Jordan Napier, from San Diego State. He is 28% rostered. I just think I better get him now because he has the bigger playmaking ability. He's already have a 31-point game under his belt. He had 28.3. I believe that was Friday against Colorado State, where he had 7 receptions, 153 yards, and a touchdown.
Right.
They get a Nevada team who's kind of like in the middle of the pack. They're 63rd on defense, but Napier he still just knows how to get it done.
Right.
He's averaging 18.4 a game. That's really just what you want, especially in a competition like this. So he should not be on the waiver watch at this point, in my opinion. But I'm happy to grab him here.
Yeah, and he is one at 28% in the deeper leagues and the leagues where guys really pay close attention. He might not be there, but if you're in your smaller leagues and the ones where guys don't pay quite as much attention, you can still get him. And my note on him too is he's only got, I think, the 2 receiving touchdowns, but they give him a few carries here and there, and he's got 2 rushing touchdowns as a true wide receiver that they like to do some gadget stuff with. So that shows you what kind of an athlete is if they're making sure to get him some handoffs here and there.
Yeah, so that's a nice pickup there. I didn't catch that one, but I just like. I mean, like I say, to me he should be a household name, and I'm surprised that he's still on the list here. So I figured I might as well get him now.
Yeah, and he was my number 1 receiver. Yes, I'm kind of regretful but I'm happy with the quarterback, and that's the decision I made. So let's see. Now for my wide receiver. You know what? Not all of us are Sooners fans here, and we know there's a big game coming up this weekend, right, against Texas. So
I know you're not taking a Texas player right now, are you?
No, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to stick with the hometown team. We had him last week. He worked out. I know, Texas is not Kent State, but Texas is 86th in terms of giving up points to wide receivers. So I think our guy Isaiah Satania has proven himself worthy of being an almost every week player, no matter who they're playing. And it doesn't look like that Texas secondary is too scary, frankly. So let's get Isaiah Satania in there again. He's been pretty consistent. His last 3, he's had 17, 27, and 23. His targets were down a little bit this week, but he made the most of all the targets he had. 4 catches on 5 targets and 2 touchdowns. And I know he's under 30, but I know he's up there probably around 25. I don't have that exact note on his percentage, Willie. You have it at 19?
It's 19, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So while everybody else is focused on Barnes and some of the other guys, I'll stick with Satania, who we kind of eyeballed a couple weeks ago and grabbed in the Kings Classic, and we're happy to have him this week in the Kings Classic.
And I hope for your sake, and because there's a couple leagues out there that where if you do get special teams points, he has that return ability. So
right.
That's a sneaky 10 points you could grab.
We've been on this train, Farnsworth. What's your feeling? We've realized that we were in the minority, which we had no clue in terms of leagues not giving wide receivers or running backs points if they get kick and punt returns. What's your philosophy on that?
In our home league, we've had kick and punt return yardage available and applied for, 10, 12 years.
Oh, yardage even. Okay.
Wow.
Yardage. Yeah,
All
and
right.
it's and we treat it like rushing yards or receiving yards. It's a point per 10 yards.
Oh, that's valuable then. Yeah.
Yeah. So if he has 60 punt return yards, that's 6 points.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, we've been doing that for I don't know how long. What it does is it brings a different element to the game as far as strategy is concerned.
Yep.
Because you'll very seldom get those wide receivers / or running backs that are
Your top flight starters.
They're not going to be the workhorses usually.
Well, they're relevant in as far as their position and special teams.
Right.
So usually what you'll have like a second string or a third string speed guy.
Right.
That's back there returning kicks or your top rusher. Maybe he's not back there because usually they'll put a safety back there who has a lot of speed or a corner who has a lot of speed. And so very rare do you have the dual threat of a wide receiver or running back that you have, like your ace receiver or number 2 receiver who's very active in the offense but he's also back there returning punts and kicks. So it becomes very valuable if you can find that somewhat of a unicorn. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, we were just curious because again we've been shocked that a lot of the other leagues we're in. We get all excited like when Lacey from Louisville gets a kick return and then we get no points and we're like, why don't we get points? That should count. He got into the end zone and the answers for why don't seem to make sense. It's like, well, we don't have a defense in that league, so we don't count any defensive points. It's like, well, that doesn't matter. I have the player. The player scored a touchdown. Give me the points. All of our leagues, we've always given bonus points for kick return. We've given 10 points for a kick or a punt return because it's an exciting play that's game changing. So we're like, how do we apply that in fantasy? Make it a 10-point touchdown because they're more rare too. So like something that's as rare as that, we feel like should be rewarded with a bonus. That's
absolutely,
just the way we
man. Listen, the more the merrier. Come on.
Exactly. All right. So, all right. Well, there's only 3 of us. We had a little time to talk about some other things this week. So, I just picked Satania. So, Farnsworth. I hope I didn't steal him from you.
No, sir. I thought about putting him on my list, but I knew that somebody was going to have him. So you know what? I'll just fall back and just.
I think you didn't want the jinx. You didn't want to jinx yourself.
No, I thought about him when we were getting ready for the show and everything, and I was still kind of searching. Yeah. I looked at him, I don't know, 5 or 6 times.
Okay. All right, that's cool. All right. Well, okay,
I took him off my list for the jinx. I didn't want that going on.
Yeah.
You don't want to root for a guy and then have it reverse on you.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think he's gonna have a good game because he's very active in the offense. They look to get him the ball, and I think me personally, I think John Mateer is gonna play. That's just
I think that's
okay. I will ask this before you make that pick too. So, what do you think is going to happen in those end zones because of that brick wall?
They've got to put some padding there, man. They have to put some padding there.
Yeah,
that's the first thing Willie said when
close.
Yeah. Willie said as soon as that happened, he said, "I don't know why they've had bricks there instead of padding."
I don't understand why there's not. I mean, if you're going to have bricks, do something to negate, what we saw yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to neutralize that, and in some type of way, you got to know that that's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah, because it's been coming for the last 2 or 3 seasons. There's been too many guys get too close to hurting themselves, and it finally happened. I mean, he hit that thing going full speed. Yeah.
Oh man. It was a nasty collision.
So I hope he's getting better and can come back soon from it. But yeah, it was scary watching how hard he hit how fast he hit it.
Very scary because that brick wall was very unforgiving, and he hit it like you said, going full speed. And the word is he has movement in his legs and arms. He was up moving around after they tested him and everything. The tests has come back negative. So we're good there.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, at least he's probably got a very nasty concussion,
right?
Because he hit that sucker hard.
Yeah,
and just okay.
Crazy. All right, back on track now.
Let me fill out my running back room with Braylon McReynolds. He looks to. I mean, he still has a hold of this running back position at ULM. They get Coastal Carolina coming in, a very manageable opponent. You know, they were completely overwhelmed, which was shocking. Completely overwhelmed this past week by Northwestern. I mean, just put it on them.
Yeah.
And he looked the best out of all of the running backs. It looked like Zachary Palmer-Smith was kind of coming on the week before last, but there was some regression there this past week. And Braylon McReynolds, I think he's the guy. They call him Bam. So hopefully Bam can show up for me this week in a very big way against Coastal Carolina.
Right. Yeah, a little more favorable matchup this week. The Coastal's been really bad on defense, so it should be a week for him to shine. I'm trying to see. They've given up almost 200 yards a game on the ground. Only 9 touchdowns. That seems to be kind of a mid-level number. So they haven't given up as many as some of the worst teams, but they've definitely given up more yards than most teams. Sitting there at 125th in yards allowed. So he's going to have a big opportunity to gain some yardage for you. All right, Willie, wide receiver or tight end? Are you going to beat Farnsworth to the tight end punch here?
No, I have 2 tight ends that I'm comfortable with. So I'll let Farnsworth take that later. I'm also going to let you have your Swiss Army knife because I have a guy here that should be under the radar, but actually, I don't think he should be under the radar, but he seems to be, and that's I don't know why I keep doing that. I'll let you fill these in, J-Mill. That's Jaquan Gibson from UMass.
Okay.
He's averaging 14.6. He's coming off of he had 13 points against Western Michigan. Averages about 10 targets a game. He is due for a touchdown, and who else to get against Kent State, who's given up 12 already there as far as through the air. So Jaquan Gibson, he is 20% rostered.
Yeah, I had to get his spelling down. I hadn't seen his name spelled out there. So, yeah, he was off my radar. That seems to happen once a week. I find a player that I missed on my list, but you caught my attention with those targets, so I'm going back and looking at that. And yeah,
Willie, I think you went on mute. I mean, not Willie, J-Mill. I think you're on mute.
No, I hear him.
I'm sorry. It must be me then.
Okay. Yeah. So against Iowa, he had 8.7. He had 9 against Missouri. But like I said, I mean, that competition is going to get a little bit lighter. Exactly. Yeah.
He'll have a little bit easier road. I like that. I like that as
a guy like that is due to find the end zone finally.
Right. All right. Well, you queued me up for this one, but you said I'd be able to take my Swiss Army knife, and might as well take him because he's the counterpart to your guy. He's going against him. He's on the other side of that. Well, I thought he was. Wait a minute. Who's Jackson? Gibson? Oh, Gibson's playing Kent State. I thought that was Kennesaw for a minute. Okay. All right. Forget what I said. I'm taking the guy from Kennesaw State, Gabriel Binyard. Where do I want to put him, though, is the question. Let me see real quick. He is the Swiss Army knife that can go at running back or receiver. Seems like he's a legitimate receiver, but Fantrax lets you do what you want with him. So I think I'm going to stick with him at receiver, his natural position. He's been getting a few carries similar to Napier. He's going against Louisiana Tech, who's also 114th against fantasy wide receivers. What I like about him, and he's getting to the end zone. He's had a receiving touchdown in each of his last 3 games, and he's been pretty consistent with 18, 23, and 16 points. So he might not have as high of a ceiling as you'd like, but at this time of the season, week 7, I'd be happy to take a guy who should get me routinely between 16 and 20 points in every game. And that's what I think we'll see from him again this week. There you go. Gabriel.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I say, I want to say I was talking about him last year, and I was probably a little bit ahead of the curve because it just never came to fruition. But I do like what he's doing now.
That's always frustrating when you're too far ahead on a guy.
Right.
You have them the year before and cut them, and then they turn out to be a superstar in a dynasty league or something like that the next year.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Crazy.
very frustrating. That's for sure.
All right, Farnsworth, you could do the double up here. You could take your tight end and then take a receiver because we've both got ours. So we'll let you go twice if you want, or if you want some time to think about that last receiver, you could certainly do that too.
Well, Willie has the tight end he hasn't taken yet. But like he said earlier, I feel comfortable with the two remaining. I had Randy Pittman first, but he's already taken in the two guys that I have left. I feel comfortable with either one. Man, it's quite a few wide receivers to choose from. I think I'm going to go with Chase Nimrod, wide receiver from South Florida. They're playing North Texas. And at first glance, on the surface, it looks like North Texas has a wonderful defense defending against the pass. That's what it looks like. But I think, in my opinion, that's more so about the opponent rather than North Texas's defense.
Right.
They've played teams that just don't pass the ball well. You throw Army in there, Service Academy, not going to throw the ball at all.
Right.
You get some very, very poor pass offenses in some of the teams that they've played, such as Washington State. I don't have any idea what they're doing over there. I don't think they know either. Bless their hearts.
No.
They're trying to do the best that they can now.
They're doing their best impersonation of being a Mountain West team.
Dude, they are not.
They know they're playing down to what they're going to be next year, basically Mountain West.
They should just stop fighting it and just go ahead and embrace it. Because that's about what they are right now.
Yeah, it's a shame they're going to call that the Pac-12 again, but when really it's just an extension of the Mountain West next year.
That's all it is. It's a glorified Mountain West. Is what it is, and they need to treat it as such.
Right.
But
agreed.
They've played the likes of, Lamar. Western Michigan's really not passing the ball well. Washington State, we've already talked about them, and Army, Service Academy. South Alabama, our guy Bishop Davenport's more of a dual threat guy. Right. But South Florida will be by far the most talented offensive team that they faced all year long.
Yep.
And their quarterback, his name is slipping me right now, Byron Brown.
Yes.
Byron Brown is probably the best. He will be the best quarterback that they faced all year. They've got a few options out wide, so it's not just Chase Nimrod. But give me Chase Nimrod, 15% on, I believe, against North Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. You talked about a shootout with Marshall and Old Dominion. I think there's your real guaranteed shootout in this North Texas USF game. That game could have 70 points easily. I'm trying to see what the over/under is on it right now.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, normally they have them out the very next day, but we'll let Willie make his pick, and I'll keep looking for it. Let's see what I can find.
All right.
But that's a good pick. I like when we don't always stick to the rankings in terms of what the opponent is in terms of their rank against the rush and the pass. Sometimes you got to dig deeper and figure out why that ranking is what it is. So I like the logic there, Farnsworth. Nice job. But yeah, I'm still looking for that over/under. The total over/under for the game is set to be, depending on the book, between 63 and 67 points. So that's a lot of touchdowns and a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
And Vegas typically knows what they're doing when they set these lines. There you go.
Oh yeah.
All right, Willie. So yeah, you could. Farnsworth declined to take a tight end and a wide receiver, but you have the option of taking a tight end and a quarterback here if you'd like to do your double pick. Since we both have our quarterbacks, you could go tight end.
I'm definitely going tight end. He seems to have his 2 or 3 left, but I'm going to take the number one that was on mine.
I hated the guys next on the list, so go ahead and let me see if I missed somebody.
Okay, so I don't have. Actually, no, I have Jeffrey Pittman. He's 2% rostered. So I'm going to go with a guy who is 0% rostered. Like I said, we're really only wanting that 10 points. I feel comfortable that he can do above his 7.3 yard average based on the opponent, and that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
Eni Falali from Wake Forest. He
All
is,
right, you
like I
can
said,
spell that one.
0%. Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it for you. He is, like I say, 0% rostered. He is coming off of a 15-point game against Virginia Tech, but they get Oregon State this
Okay.
week. So Oregon State has given up 14
Oh,
passing
okay.
touchdowns. They give up 271 through the air. He should have plenty of opportunities. Wake Forest is getting ready to head into their bye after this. So just go ahead and throw everything at him. And so I like what he potentially can bring. Um, he's slowly building. So the week before
Mm-hmm.
he had 6.9 off of his 3 catches, but yesterday he had 450 and a touchdown. Like for him to possibly get into the end zone as everybody else on the team should against a poor Oregon State team.
The other Mountain West team.
Right. Embrace it. Just go ahead and embrace it.
But since the Pac-12 diminished, don't they both seem like they've just got drastically worse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, All right. Well, I'll leave him alone for now, but I like that he's on the upward trend. That's a good find. That's a good find out in the rough there for you guys. That's what I'm going to pay attention to and keep an eye on. Good job, Willie. Do you want to take your quarterback here since we've both got ours?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
I'll go with a guy here who is just consistent.
Okay.
I think I actually have a few shares of him in a few leagues. That's going to be BTR, and also he's my sickos quarterback, and that's
Okay.
Ryan Brown from Purdue.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He is 7% rostered. He's averaging 23.6. His lowest game of the season was 19.8, and that
Yep.
was way back in early September. But he's coming off a 30 of 50 for a 300-yard game. He had 24.3, right there, about his average. They get
Yep.
Minnesota, so it's not like it's going to be a blowout. Minnesota should give them a little bit to where he can complete the game, but I do like
Yep.
his consistency and should get you another 20 if you need it in buy situations.
No, I like it. I had him on. He was on my list of 4. I think we're just all scared to take a Purdue player in general because like they haven't been the best team to take players from since Coach Brome left. But yeah, he's one of those guys. I think we got to start believing in Purdue a little bit. They seem to be putting up some numbers, and he's a big part of it. So I like that pick.
Yeah, I mean their defense doesn't help them. I mean that's especially the last few
in
weeks.
fantasy,
But
that's what we like. You want players on a team with a bad defense because that means they're going to be playing from behind, especially if it's a quarterback and a receiver. So that's a good situation to be in.
Okay, we'll look at it this way. Their last 3 weeks they've given up 33, 56, and 43. So
right. So they're going to have.
He should be playing from behind.
The ball. That's why I had to throw the ball 50 times this week.
That's right.
Right.
That's what you want.
Yep. All right. I'm going to take my last pick as a, this is pretty cool. I'm going to follow your 0% with my 0%, Willie. True freshman.
I know who this is.
I had to look him up and see why he was even playing and who he was and where he came from. Old Steve Chavez Soto. We'll have our second hyphenated player. It looks like this is the next guy up for San Jose State, who has lost Jabari Bates for the season. Chalk is just, undisclosed reasons, undisclosed injury, seems to be out for a while. True freshman, go grab him in your dynasty leagues. He'll be here for a while. His college debut, 14 for 71 and 2 touchdowns. I'm pretty happy with that. And that's why it stood out, though. It's like, where are his other stats? He doesn't have any. This was his first game. Pretty good start. So I'm not scared of the Wyoming defense. I think he can put up an adequate performance. and match, maybe not match the 2 touchdowns he did last week, but I think he'll certainly match those yards, get his 70, 80 yards, hopefully get in the end zone for me as well. But we love finding these 0% guys in the middle of the season because these are the guys you can definitely go find in almost any league. And those leagues where everybody has spent all their free agent bucks, if you're in one of those types, then this is what you saved your money for, to go spend your $40, or depending on your budget, 50% of the budget you had on a guy like this who will probably be the RB1 for San Jose State the remainder of the way. So there you go.
Yeah, he wasn't in my top 4, but he definitely made the list, and I was happy that I wasn't the only one that saw him.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell you what, man, that was a great pick because I saw him yesterday and thought I got to put him on my watch list and completely forgot.
Okay, good.
You just brought it back.
You forgot, but I'm glad you saw him. Because we talk about all the time how, I'm just seeing it as numbers on paper. I didn't catch any of that game. So right now, he's just numbers on paper. But it's always a better extra step when you can get the cosign of somebody that saw him play and thought he looked impressive, or if you got to see him play the majority of a game and know, okay, he's not just numbers on paper. He was the real deal. Like the way I described Lacey to you, I've been watching Lacey the last 2 weeks, and he's a player for Marshall. But, it's always great to kind of get an eyeball on him to see if what you see with your eyes matches what the numbers say. So that's good to know.
No, the kid looks great. I was watching. I wasn't watching him. I have Danny Scudero in all of my leagues. I was watching him.
Right.
And happened to see that. I'm thinking, who is this guy? Where did he come from? Why
exactly. Is he? We all think we know everybody. We literally all think we know everybody, and then here comes a true freshman.
And here he comes,
from a
man.
Group of 5 school.
And he, you got I was like, oh, okay, I need to put him on the watch list.
Right.
And completely forgot about him. And you just
always there's always that one or two interesting Group of 5 running backs that emerge this time of year.
Yeah.
Last year it was Hardy and Bothwell.
Yes. Fluff.
Yes.
I saw he got injured yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, he got hurt late in the game. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we've timed this pretty well. We're right at 45, 46 minutes. I like when it's that length, perfect length. But we're going to let you close us on out, Farnsworth, with your tight end here. Let's see if you can give me another good recommendation, since I didn't have very many.
Tight end, I'm going with Isaiah Cummings. I think he's going to get off the schneid.
Okay.
He's been on it a couple of weeks now.
This will be his 3rd week in a row on the waiver watch, and 2 of those, after a huge start to the season, he failed us twice. Let's hope 3rd time's a charm for you.
Yes, he has. He went to the Smurf turf because he was on a heater. He was on a heater, and he went to the Smurf turf and kind of cooled off. Played Oregon State. They had other options and other plans he was not a part of, apparently.
Right.
Or the plans that they had for him just did not work. Hopefully he can get back to it this week against Georgia State. If you want to get back to it, just play somebody like Georgia State. So here we are.
Right.
They are on the road. It looks like they've got a new quarterback in there. I think A.J. Swan is either hurt or something. He's dealing with something. But J.J. Cole played quite a bit the last game against Oregon State. Didn't look too bad. You want to bring that percentage up, that completion percentage. Definitely want to get that back up. But, again, they play Georgia State. I think it's a more manageable opponent where CFF is concerned. And maybe A.J. Swan comes back. I don't know what the issue is there. But I'm going with Isaiah Cummings. I think if they're going to have success with their offense, they've got to get this guy involved in the offense because he, like you said, J. Mill, he's been wonderful at the beginning of the season, and somehow he just kind of fizzled out. And I don't know if that was the opponent keying in on him or whether, the game plan just went another way. You never know about the game script and how those offensive coordinators feel in those moments and the game flow. Game flow is big. And if you're not just an entrenched piece in that offense, you can get lost in the shuffle real quick. And I think that's probably what happened with him in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully I'm banking on him becoming more involved in the offense going forward, especially this week.
I hope so. I had high hopes for him. I hope so. I don't know if Swan's really hurt or not. I know his last two games were pitiful. I had him. I was kind of on his bandwagon, thinking as a transfer from the Power Four to the Group of Five, he would be that sneaky guy I pick up that's going to do good, replacing, App State's quarterback that's now doing wonderful at Tennessee. But man, I looked like I was brilliant the first 2 weeks, but then the last 2 weeks, AJ Swan just fell apart. He wasn't hurt in the Southern Mississippi game when he only had 9 points. I'll tell you that. But as AJ Swan has gone, so has Cummings. So we'll see if now Cole can kind of put it together if he remains the quarterback and get Cummings back on track. So I'm rooting for you on that one because I had him 2 weeks ago and I think there's still potential. So that's good. That'll be fun to watch. This was really enjoyable talking to you guys. Good way to spend a Sunday afternoon, getting ready for the next week of college fantasy football. Farnsworth, we're gonna get you out and back in the public face here a little more often. We know we missed that Ankle Biters podcast, being out there routinely. If you do one, we're here for you to be on there and have more discussions like this. It's always really fun talking to you. I think you're one of the most underrated minds in the fantasy world that's out there on Twitter and with your own podcast. And so we're going to always have an open invitation for you to come join us with anything that we're doing. Okay.
Man, that's wonderful. I feel special.
Yeah, and let's pray for both of our sake. We get back on the top 10 of the best list this week, and we don't get any more top 10s or top 10 worst performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right.
Well, before we head out,
we do have to go once around the block with anybody that might have been left on anybody's list here. So,
right.
Yeah, Willie, it looks like you were anxious to mention a couple names there. We'll let you go.
Yeah, I was really surprised that Farnsworth didn't look at this guy, and that's tight end Bruin Fleischman from Air Force, who's coming off coming off three straight games of getting into the end zone. He had a 28.6 game yesterday, so I was really surprised that wasn't going to be your pick.
No, I did look at him, no doubt.
Okay,
no
but
doubt.
for those out there, he's 0% rostered. So I mean, like I said, you could do worse right now if you don't have a tight end. Going to the receivers, Camden Brown from Georgia Southern. Surprised that he wasn't taken. And then
Well, I think that was the match. Maybe the matchup looks a little tougher, but yeah, he's on my list too.
Okay, and then another wide receiver, 1% rostered. That's Naheem Abdul Rahim Gladding from Old Dominion, coming off of a big game. But Old Dominion, they're just going to keep surprising people, and so you might want to get on that one a little bit early. He's had a 35.1 outing coming off his 10 targets and 100-yard game. So that's one name to look out for.
And Willie, I just scrolled back to last week. He's the reason that the guy I took last week had a bad week. Ja'Cory Thomas only got me 6.6 after having a pretty good season. So the guy you just mentioned took away all my waiver watch points that I wanted last week.
Yep, he was up in your neck. Yeah, up in your neck of the woods from Brooklyn, New York. And then the last name I have is Dante McMillan. Not sure. That's just another guy that this is kind of, just consistent out of Eastern Michigan.
He's on my list.
He's 15% rostered. Yes, the running back.
Right.
Yeah, he's 15% rostered, averaging 18.2. He's coming off a 30.3 game against Buffalo where he had 20 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. He just consistently gets it done. He's normally been around the 13 to 15 range, but I think he's going to get an uptick going forward. So that's just another consistent guy that if you want to grab him now. He's 16% rostered. And then lastly, on the quarterback, you always talk about Calandria, J-Mill. I think he has a great matchup against Air Force. Surprised he wasn't taken. But the other one, Robbie Alshford from Wake Forest, who's 5% rostered. I think Wake is hopefully going to wake up, no pun intended. But Robbie has been pretty consistent also with his 20.4. The competition should probably get a little bit easier So they should be
Yep.
coming into their
It kind
groove.
of
And so if
reminds me
you
of the
need
Purdue situation.
yes. If you need somebody in a pinch who's going to get you that 20 points, there you go.
Yeah, he's not the sexiest name, kind of like your Ryan Brown pick from Purdue, but he's a guy that you can trust to be pretty consistent, even if he doesn't have that high ceiling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, J. Mill, you said earlier that the South Florida, North Texas over and under, I've got that at 67.5.
Yeah. No, AI gave me the answer on it. They said it's ranging right now from 63 to 67. So
okay, yeah,
that's crazy.
DraftKings, I'm looking at DraftKings. That's 67.5,
No, I
which is
told you
even better.
off the top of my head. I said it could be a 70-point game. Like that, we're not lying
You're
about
right
that
there.
one.
Yeah, you're right there. But quarterbacks, Houston quarterback.
Wegman.
If it's
the new one,
Weigman or Zeon Chris. Weigman, right. He got hurt.
Blast from the past.
But Zeon Chris stepped in. They're playing Oklahoma State this week.
So there you go. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
It's a matchup type thing, and plus you can couple the wide receiver Amari Thomas with that. If you're looking for somebody in deeper leagues, of course
he's got a history of performing well. We know Zeon Chris is not a stranger to CFF players. Check his stats out from previous years when he wasn't at Houston. He was doing pretty good.
And it helps to play Oklahoma State too.
Yeah, also. They're the Georgia State of the Power Four right now.
Yeah, terrible. Braden Pegan, that's Utah State wide receiver. He's available. That's our guy Bryson Barnes, main target, who's been kind of lighting it up the past few weeks. Quasi Gilmer, UCLA. It seems like our guy Nico may have, they probably cut him loose a little bit. This past week, he kind of lit Penn State up.
Yep, looked pretty
through
good.
the air and on the ground, and Quasi Gilmore was one of the beneficiaries of that performance, and so you got him also, and of course running back. You can't forget about O.J. Arnold, 22% on
another Georgia Southern guy, right? Yep.
Yeah, he's there.
All right. I'll say at running back, our guy Alton McCaskill is back at Sam Houston. Another guy that was injured and has now come back. To put it in perspective, he had 15 points basically week one. He comes back, he gets 15 points again in his return. He's going against Jacksonville State. Should be a good matchup situation for him. I like the guy everybody thought was running back 2 at Lafayette or University of Louisiana, Zylan Perry. But he is playing against JMU, so he might have a tougher matchup. But he's had 25 and 23 the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if you necessarily want to play him this week. But again, we've made our picks based on this week. We're throwing out names now that might even help you down the line. Zylan Perry could be one of those guys. The other guys we all took that I had there, KJ Duff is still sitting out there as a Rutgers wide receiver 2 who very consistently gets you between 16 and 20 points every single game, 8 or 9 targets. And I think I will finish off with a guy that I'm shocked my partner in crime, Willie B, did not mention as a lifelong fan of Michael Jackson. So keep your eyes on Michael Jackson, who is the counterpart to his quarterback pick at Purdue this week. He had 17 targets. 17 of those 50 passes that Ryan Brown threw were to Michael Jackson. He's 2% rostered. So again, if you're looking to dig deeper, because some of the other guys we mentioned aren't there, they're playing Minnesota, who, again, gives up quite a few points to wide receivers. He's averaging 13.6, but he did manage 23 points this week. Seems to be another guy that's on the rise that you might be able to catch if you're really, really hurting. So I will leave it at that.
That's a nice one. Yeah, glad you're giving away some of the names that I kind of keep under wraps for our deeper leagues and conversations, but that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and good luck this week.
All right. Adios.